Hey, what's up you guys, The Curious Owl here, and today I'm going to be talking about trans and non-binary authors that I would like to read from. Now, unfortunately, I only have one physical book that is by a trans or non-binary author that I am aware of, but any of the books that I have done in this kind of series of videos of books I'm going to be reading in July that are focusing on different areas of authorship and people that have written stories or characters that involve different things. If any of those books seem to fit other categories, please feel free to let me know with a comment below on any of those videos, because this series of videos I think is going to stand for what exactly my July TBR is, but it's not extensive in these videos. When I go to film my July TBR, I will have a more extensive list of books that I will be wanting to read in the month that are going to be kind of done in like a random draw kind of scenario where I pick a book out of a hat or a bin or something like that, and whatever I draw, I read that book specifically, that are either on my Kindle, on Audible that I have already, or in my physical TBR. So like I said, I only have one book that I know of for a fact is by a trans or non-binary author, but I will be talking about some other books I would like to read in the future that I may or may not, really get into in July, depending on if I'm able to go out and get these books, or if I'm able to go to the library to get them, because as of now, I do not believe the library that is closest to me is even open. So the one physical book I do have is The Devouring Grey by Christine Lynn Herman. I have heard so much about this and how if you like Stranger Things, you're gonna really, really like this one. And I am such a fan of Stranger Things. I only saw the first season and I haven't really taken the plunge to watch the rest of it because I've heard so many people say it's very sad, but the way that season 1 ended, I was really, really intrigued, especially with one of the characters that had gone missing in Stranger Things and how he was coping with everything that happened at the very end of season 1. I just can't take the plunge to watch the series. But The Devouring Grey I've heard is really, really good, and that it really plays on a lot of those very atmospheric elements, and I'm very excited to read it. So now to go into some of the other books I would like to try to read if I can get my hands on them. First of all being Felix Ever After by Kacen Callender. I cannot wait to get my hands on this one. I do have Queen of the Conquered. I know for a fact I have that on my Kindle, so that is one I know for a fact I will be reading hopefully in the month. But Felix Ever After, I have heard so many good things about, with how emotional it is and how really satisfying it is to see this character grow up to be what they want to be, and standing up for themselves and all these things. Like, it just makes my heart warm to think about all of the great things I have heard about this book. Next one is Cemetery Boys by Aiden Thomas, I think is the author, and this one I've heard is fantastical and fun and very quirky, and I don't know, just something about the cover of it alone draws it to me. I think it's just so beautiful that I have to have this one on my shelf if I can get my hands on. Next is one of my most anticipated reads from a trans and non-binary author, and that is I Wish You All the Best by Mason Deaver. I've heard a lot of people say that this was kind of hit or miss for them in terms of the story itself, but I also love these coming of age stories. Coming of age stories are some of my most favorite contemporary kinds of stories because I feel so happy seeing characters grow up to be what they want to be, which is one of the reasons why I think that Felix Ever After by Kacen Callender is going to be one of my most anticipated ones as well. But I've heard that I Wish You All the Best is really one that hits home for a lot of people, and I'm very excited to hopefully be able to read this one because I think it's going to really, really make me cry, and I kind of feel like that I need books right now that are going to make me feel, because right now we're living in a time where, especially for trans individuals, it's a very dark time. It's a very, very sad time. Also, I want to read pretty much everything by Anna Marie McLemore. I've heard so many good things about Wild Beauty and Deep and Darkest Red and Blanca and Roja. I want to get all of her books. I think I have Wild Beauty and Blanca and Roja. Maybe Deep and Darkest Red, I don't remember. I've got, I think, 3 of her books on my Kindle that I can think of off the top of my head. So I am looking to really get into that because I've heard that her writing is absolutely stunning, and especially with Wild Beauty, that the magical realism of the story is absolutely wonderful and so fun to read. And I think it has a little bit of a practical magic essence to it in a sense, which is that's one of my most favorite movies of all time. So I think this one might be one that I pick up fairly soon. So off the top of my head, those are the books that I would really like to read by trans or non-binary authors. Like I said, The Devouring Grey is really the only one I have physically. I have quite a few, I think, on my Kindle that I can think of off the top of my head, but they're on my Kindle. And then obviously there's a couple others that I would like to get over the course of the month if I can, whether through the library or going to Barnes & Noble and getting them. But I'm also going to try not to buy books this month because I'm trying to save up for like my wedding and stuff like that. And I just spent a lot of money on myself for my upcoming birthday with buying a bunch of books that I really wanted to get my hands on for this particular month. And I don't really have the ability, I think, to go out and buy too much more, if any at all. But that's it for this video. Thank you guys so much for joining me. If you guys did enjoy it, please do give it a big thumbs up. And if you're not already and you'd like to be, hit that button down below and subscribe to become an owlet in our flock. And I will see all of you guys in my next video. Bye guys!